And we are back, guys. We have 10 games slate in 2 days. Lines opened 3 days ago on Monday. So I decided to make the video today. And tomorrow we're gonna have first live stream on the channel. It will be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So like 1.5 hours before the first game starts. Make sure to join, make sure to subscribe, and let's cook. So far this season, before the All-Star break, we had 5 weeks of show picks and we were up 26 units with 14.4% ROI. And let's now jump into today's slate. First game on the board, Hawks against the 76ers. We have Joel Embiid questionable for this one. I do expect him to play, but him being in and out is crucial for this game, both for the Hawks side and for the 76ers side. So on this one, I'm giving a pass. Maybe we get more info for the live stream tomorrow, so we could end up having bets on the live stream. Moving on to the second game on the board. When the Houston Rockets are playing, there is one guy that I usually go to, and this time it's Tari Eason, our guy, Tari Eason, points and rebounds over 16.5, minus 121 DraftKings, minus 122 Caesars. So our first official bet after the All-Star break is Tari Eason, my Houston Rockets, over 16.5 points and rebounds. He was on huge minutes limit when he returned back from the injury. We can see that he was out for a long time, then returned, was playing 16, 18, slow minutes, 21 minutes, but lately we can see that he got 34, 30 minutes, 34, 28, 34, 31. So he is kind of getting 28 plus minutes, but will go safe and do like 26 plus minutes. And in those minutes, he is averaging almost 21 points and rebounds a game. And we have 16.5 line. He covered this in 12 out of 17 games, 70% win rate. If you take a look at the rebounds without Adams, he's averaging almost 7 rebounds a game. If you take a look at the points overall, he's averaging 14 points a game. So it looks like a decent spot for both points over and rebounds over. And combining that, we get 16.5. Absolutely love this spot. And looking at the matchup, we can see that he is kind of average matchup. Like they are top in spot up and putbacks, but average in transition. But looking at the shooting zones, he scores most of his points at the rim, and they are like allowing 10th most in that area. They allow above average in above the break threes. They are kind of average matchup, I will say. They are 16th against his position, which is again average. But we can see that he struggled against teams that are best against his position and one of the best against his dominant shooting zone. So if we exclude just top 7 against his dominant shooting zone, we can see that he now covered in 11 out of 12 games. If you take a look at the defense against position, they are average. If we exclude like top 7 in that area, like top 8, we can then again see that he covered this in 11 out of 13 games, averaging almost 22 points and rebounds. So yeah, this looks like a very low line for Tari Eason. Also, last couple of games against the Clippers, he closed at 16.5, minus 130, even though the matchup was much more difficult. Then before that one, he had 20.5 points and rebounds line, 20.5, 20.5. So he was like in the range of 18.5 up to 20.5 points and rebounds. And now we get 16.5 in a matchup that I would consider average. And I think that he's getting more minutes than he's actually projected. If you take a look at his numbers, on the season, he's averaging 18.3 points and rebounds per 25 minutes. And they have 16.5. And I have him playing 30 plus minutes. If you take a look at the games when he's getting like 22 plus minutes, average goes to 20.5, and it's still less than 30 minutes a game. And I see him definitely above 30 minutes against the Hornets. So my first official bet, Tari is on over 16.5 rebounds. Other guys in this matchup could be a decent spot for Amen Thompson. As you can see that most of the games that he's playing teams that allow a ton of points at the rim, he's usually playing really well. We can see that when we exclude like When you look at the games when he's playing at bottom 10 teams in rim defense, he's already signing 81% of the games. Uh, Maybe we can do paint points if we look at when he's playing against below average teams in paid defense. Also 17 out of 20 to 19 points average. So could be a decent spot, but I'm going with Tyrese because Eamon Thompson played against the Hornets and scored only 8 points. And it was like a couple of days before the All-Star break. So he didn't play well there. It was back to back. So could be weird because they play like a ton of games, like first of 30 of like they had tight schedule. 29th of January, 30th of January, 1st of February, 3rd of February, 5th of February, and then 6th a back-to-back game. So they had tight schedule, and yeah, this was like 6 game in 10 days, which is tired legs. So can't take much from it. KD had definitely a great game, had great usage, but shot unbelievable, which is not a huge surprise for KD. Also only had 31 minutes. That game line closed 25 and a half, but that was without Tyrese and because he sit on back-to-back. So definitely another target. Everyone looks great against the Hornets tonight for the Houston Rockets. I would say I like everyone. So I'm going with Tyrese because I think his line is the lowest and the biggest edge should be on Tyrese. On the side of the Hornets, I honestly have no idea. We struggled. Rockets struggled against them. They lost by 10. I could see some changes. In that game, Brandon Miller had horrible game. LaMelo stayed under but shot a ton of shots. Con Compel had a great game, scored 24, but only 13 field goal attempts. That's a bit too low for this line, and it's trending to 19 and a half. So, yeah, that's it from this game. Moving on to the next game, it's Nets against the Cavaliers. Yeah, this one is spread 15 points. Evan Mobley could be back for the Cavaliers. They should absolutely demolish them. Could be a game where James Harden don't do much. We can see that game against the Denver. He was taking a back seat and then close when the game got close in the fourth, he took over and scored a ton of points in the fourth. Next game against the Wizards, huge blowout, the same I expect tonight. He only took 4 field goal attempts in that game. Okay, he had 12 free throws. Okay, definitely it wasn't that passive, but scoring 13 points in 28 minutes, I could see him doing the same thing tonight because he scores most of his points from the above the break three and from pull-ups, and they are kind of one of the best defensive team against those. And also he's scoring a ton of his points against pick and roll ball handler. They are great against pick and roll ball handlers as well. So not the greatest matchups actually, but we can see that he already had a game where he scored 31 against the Nets. But in that game, he shot unbelievable. We can see only 13 field goal attempts. So I will lean under. One key thing for why I'm not making this official bet is because he wasn't made an all-star. So maybe he takes okay, I'll show you how I score 40 points a night, like prime time. So yeah, James Harden, not much. On the side of the Nets, heavy tanking season. I have no idea. I don't know about Nolan Traore. Last couple of games he had 15 and 18 potential assists, but it's heavily juiced now at 4.5. So I'm gonna pass. Moving on to the next game, Pacers against the Wizards. Pacers side, I have no idea who is even playing. We can see that injury list looks crazy, but also, the thing about the Wizards, they were kind of benching guys. But let's look at this. Trey Johnson in January was playing 30 minutes, 34 minutes, 37 minutes, 32 minutes. Then got injured against the Bucks and then returned. First game back, only played 18 minutes. Foul trouble, huge blowout, and first game back from the injury. I can definitely see him playing close to 30 minutes. Like, if they are developing guys, he should be one of them. He is like their rookie who is playing really well. So if it's tank time, at least you should play your rookies. So I do think Trey Johnson should be getting like 26 minutes a game. If you make it at like expected minutes, which is I would say 22 to 32 on the season, he's averaging 13.3 points. But let's look at the head-to-head. One game against the Indiana Pacers, 14 points covered in only 16 minutes of playing time. Absolutely insane. But looking at the injury report, CJ McCollum traded. First guy, leading guy in scoring. Second guy in scoring, Alex Sarr is out. Chris Middleton, Marvin Bagley, Corey Kispert, big usage guys, or are all traded. Then we have Trey Johnson himself and Keishan George. So I would say he's probably now the first scoring option on this team. And they are playing a soft matchup against the Pacers. And I expect they try to develop him, so maybe even pump some numbers his way. Looking at the last couple of games before the injury, we can see his usage was absolutely insane. Games against without CJ and without Sarr, one game, 26.5% usage. Overall, without CJ McCollum, we can see that since the trade, he had 22% usage. And just looking at the raw data from the last couple of games, 26.5 usage against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 27% against the Bucks, then lower usage game against the Portland, and he still covered and scored 18 points. Another game, huge usage, Hornets 32, and then this game 21. So he had like 21 or higher in 4 out of the last 5. Huge average. Let's take a look at the last 5 games. We can see that he's averaging 24% usage. So when we take a look on the entire season, when he gets 22 to 32 minutes, he's averaging 13.5 points. But as I said, usage could be the key here. So if we take a look at the games when he gets at least 15.5% usage, super low, I would say, then he's averaging 14%. 14 points average, not percent. 14 points average. Then if you take a increase to like 17.5% usage, it goes even higher. But if you take a look at the games when he had 20 plus percent usage, you can see that he's averaging 15.4 points, covering in 9 out of 12 games. Alan Anders came 4 from 10 against the Clippers. Then Orlando Magic 3 from 12, and Dallas Mavericks 4 from 13. So when he shots average, and he was on pace to be like 50, 40, 90 guy before a couple of rough games. So yeah, definitely expecting him to cover this line. So my second official bet, Trey Johnson over 12.5 points, minus 102 to minus 112, widely available. Trey Johnson, second official bet. I forgot to say it before we go to it, but Trey Johnson, second official bet for us. Interesting spot, definitely, for Carlton Carrington. Looking at the games without CJ McCollum, we can see that over the last how many? 18 games. 18 games since the trade. He covered in 14 out of 18 games, averaging 12 points a game. Now we have 9.5. And also looking at the last 10, we can see that he was averaging 26 minutes a game. If you take a look at the games when he got 23 to 33 minutes without CJ McCollum this season, we can see that he's averaging 11.1. So doesn't change much if he exclude the games where he got lower minutes and higher minutes. So yeah, this one could be interesting. I went with Trey Johnson because I think he's a much better scorer. But Carlton Carrington definitely looks good. They should be playing their young guys moving forward. As on the Pacers side, as I said, not much. I don't know who is playing and how much. They should definitely compete to lose this game. Moving on, Pistons against the Knicks. OG Anunoby questionable, could be out. Definitely impacts the game. On the other side, we just looked at Kate scoring only 11 points against them in 22 minutes. Honestly, we can see that similar players have been cooking against them lately. You can see that they've been covering. They are horrible to pick and roll ball handlers, which makes sense. But they are great paint defense, and he scores a ton of points in the paint. He played them twice this season, both blowouts win for the Pistons. And you can see that one game he covered on very efficient shooting. Next game he didn't even came close. So not much there. Maybe something on Duncan Robinson threes. Definitely one of the leans. Looking at the expected minutes, I think he is expected to play 22 to 30. Then on the season, he's covering this in 17 out of 30. Looking at the games against the Knicks, he had 2 from 6 in 21 minutes in a huge blowout, and then 3 from 7 covered. So two blowouts, lower minutes only 20 and 21, but he got out 13 3-point attempts in those 40 minutes in 2 games combined. So he was definitely on pace for 8 attempts per game in 26 to 28 minutes. So another lean. Also looking at the defense of the Knicks, we can see that they do allow above average threes. They are ranked 23rd in threes allowed, so definitely could be a good matchup. Important to say that team is missing Duran and Stewart because of the suspension, and Holland could be out as well. So minutes will be there for the Pistons. On the side of the Knicks, I can't bet on Karl Anthony Towns. This guy stinks. Then then Jalen Brunson. Last game against the Pistons, it was absolutely insane. He got 31 minutes in a huge blowout, but he shot 4 from 20. So let's say he makes 2 threes, then he's 6 from 20, and he's at 18 points. Let's say he makes an additional 2-pointer buckets, then he's at 22 points on 8 out of 20 shooting. A rough matchup against the Ausar. They kind of did show some bodies in front of him, but similar players absolutely cooked this line against the same opponent. The spread is only 4.5, and the Knicks are favorite because they are missing Duran and Stewart. So yeah, could be a spot for Jalen Brunson, but I'm gonna stay away. So many games this season when he scored 24, 25, 26, 26. So many times around the line, and the matchup is, as we can see, Pistons second best defense in the league, third best paint, overall second least to his position. So a rough matchup for Jalen Brunson. Moving on, I will now fasting things up. Next game, Raptors against the crazy team of Bulls. I don't even know what to think about this team. It's guard Anthony Simons, guard Josh Giddey, kind of forward Matas Buzelis. Their starting center is Jalen Smith, then guard wing Isaac Okoro. Insane team construction now. So all of these guys are poor on defense besides Okoro. So definitely a spot to target overs for the side of the Toronto Raptors. And I'll start with RJ Barrett over 20.5 points and assists, minus 120, wildly available. Why I'm going with this? It's because he seems to be out of minutes restriction. Last 2 games, 2 blowouts. He got 32 and 30 minutes. If he's getting those minutes in a blowout, I'm definitely expecting him to get those minutes in every single game. Against the Pacers, 32 minutes, easy cover, 25 points and assists. Next game, insanely difficult matchup against the Pistons. He hooked with 20 and now gets one of the best matchups in the league. We can see that he scores 42% of his points at the rim, and they are the dead last defense against the rim. We can see that he scores most of his points transition and spot up. They are bottom of the league there as well. Bottom of the league in catch shoot, under 10 feet, above the break threes, all over the place. So absolutely amazing matchup. They are also looking at their defensive rating. They are ranked as 6th worst defense in the league. If you take a look at the last 15 games, they are even worse. They allow the most assists, and they are 5th worst defense. They also last 15, they are 6th most points in the paint and the most catch and shoot. This should be a prime time matchup for RJ Barrett. And let's now move to his minutes. His minutes are very much important for this one. On the season, he's averaging 29 minutes, but there were some minutes restriction games when he came back from the injury, played 21 minutes in those games, limited 24, limited injury game and stuff. But overall, on the season, he's averaging 22.1 points and assists. So when we exclude these limited minutes and big blowouts and injuries, and we just look at the games when he played 26 to 36 minutes with Ingram, with Barnes, with Quickly, he is over this line in 17 out of 24 games, averaging 23.4 points and assists. Absolutely amazing spot for RJ Barrett. But let's now adjust for the matchup, and now let's check how he performs against teams who are below average in defense. And against those teams, we can see that he's covering this line 15 out of 17 game, averaging big 25.4 points and assists. My third official bet, RJ Barrett over 20.5 points and assists, minus 120, minus 122, widely available. Great spot for the RJ Barrett. The spread only 6.5, shouldn't be a blowout, but he got 30 minutes in blowout, so that should be great as well. And also additionally, the thing I said about Bulls, their only great defensive player is Okoro, and I definitely expect him to be guarding Ingram, so RJ Barrett should be definitely getting a much better matchup and getting a bigger volume, because why should Ingram force stuff against a great defensive player when RJ Barrett can cook someone else? And before we dive into the next game, guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. I'll skip a couple of the games on the board because we are already very deep in, but I'll go to the Nuggets against the Clippers because we'll have something on that game. First of all, I'll go through a couple of lanes, which is definitely on better Nick matter, and we can see that last game against the... So he only played 2 games for the Clippers. One first game, 26 minutes against the Rockets. Next game, again, Rockets, he got 31 minutes. I would say usage kind of below average because the Rockets are a tough matchup, but in those 2 games, he get 21% usage. So looking at his expected minutes, it should be 24 to 34, averaging 30. Last game against the Rockets, he got 31 in a close game. On the season, he's averaging 15.8 points with 22% usage, which is somewhere I think, expecting to have that kind of usage, especially against the Denver Nuggets. I do expect Denver Nuggets to double Kawhi Leonard very aggressively. So if you take a look in those minutes and setting up the usage between, I would say, like 18 to 28%, and then he's at 22% usage average over those games. So that's where I had him. And now I'll take a look at the matchups. He's playing 7th worst defense. And when we look at the games when he was facing teams outside top 10 in defensive rating, in 24 to 34 minutes, averaging 30 minutes with 22% usage, he was averaging 18 points a game, and we are getting plus money for 14.5. So definitely a lean. I don't know if Garland is back. He's questionable. If he's back, could definitely change things for this one. So that's why only a lean. Another lean for this game is on Derrick Jones. We can see that when he gets expected minutes, he covered this in 60% of the games, averaging big 10 points a game, but they are horrible against spot up and they are horrible against his position. So when we filter out like the toughest matchup for spot up, we can see that he's now covering this line in 8 out of 11 games, averaging 12 points a game. We have 8.5 lines. So one other lean on Derrick Jones. On the side of the Denver Nuggets, I think this will be my 4th official bet. It's Julian Strouder under 11.5 points, minus 116, wildly available. Even better at DraftKings, minus 111. When you look at the season, on the season he's averaging 6 points, but some games he didn't even play. So if we exclude the games when he gets less than 1 quarter, he's averaging 10 points a game in the 20 minutes. But let's just look at the last couple of games. We can see that last 3 games he played 25 minutes, 29 minutes, 33 minutes. But these games were without some key players. So looking at the last game against the Memphis, when he got 25 minutes, the game was without Jones. Spencer Jones was out. And look at the games with Spencer Jones in, without Watson and Gordon. There are no games, only two in December, and he got 6 and 5 minutes with Spencer Jones, without Peyton Watson, and without Gordon. We take a look without Peyton Watson and with Spencer Jones. He had 27 minutes a game and scored 20 points. But that game was without Jokic, without Jamal Murray, without everyone. So with return of Spencer Jones, who I think is playing. Last game without Spencer Jones, he got only 25 minutes because the other guys returned. We have now Cameron Johnson ready playing, Christian Brown back in the lineup playing big minutes, Jonas Valanciunas playing, Bruce Brown playing. So now we have like Nikola Jokic first guy, Jamal Murray second guy. Then we have Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, Hardaway Jr., Bruce Brown, Jonas Valanciunas, probably ahead of Strother. So I could see him playing at the most 25, but expecting him to play like 20 minutes in this game. And if you take a look throughout career, when he gets like 16 to 26 minutes, he's averaging 9.9 points a game under this line in plenty of games. If you take a look at this season in those games, he's under this line in 5 out of 9, averaging 10.7 points. But looking at some games, so some of these games, a bunch of guys were out, like Jamal Murray. Let's include the games with Jamal Murray in the lineup, Jokic in the lineup, and Jamal Murray in the lineup. And now it looks much better. He covered in only 2 out of 6 games, stayed under in 4 out of 6, averaging 10 points a game. And he played the Clippers. Clippers are not the greatest matchup for him. And he only scored 3 points in 17 minutes in January, which was like 3 weeks ago. So my fourth official bet, Julian Strouter under 11.5 points, because I think they have him more minutes than he should be playing. And also the matchup isn't great, so definitely a sell high spot for Julian Strouter. Moving on, the last two game I'll cover is Celtics against the Warriors, because I want to touch on Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know how many minutes is he going to play. Like he is coming back. They traded for him. He got time to rest throughout the All-Star break. And the last game he played was actually on January 8th. So I definitely expect him to be back. And let's say he gets like 20 to 25 minutes, which is very, very strict minutes restriction. In those games, he covered in 6 out of 7 games, averaging 16 points again, and we have 11.5 line. So he's averaging 16 points per 22 minutes. If we increase that and play, let's look at the big minutes, he's averaging 20 points per 28 minutes. So it's pretty much the rate per minute stays the same. So this line is like he should be playing like 16 to 22 minutes. And then again, he's averaging 15 points per less than 20 minutes. So it's absolutely amazing that this line is at 11.5. It's like they expect him to play like 16 minutes, which I think if he's going to play only 60 minutes, I don't think they play him at all. I think they're all going to wait for him to get 20 minutes a game ready, 22 minutes a game ready in order to play him. So on the side of Kristaps Porzingis, I definitely lean over. He could be out as well, so that's my last lean of this slate. And remember, guys, as I said, tomorrow 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, we are going live. I didn't cover every single game, so I can cover something tomorrow because for some games I need some injury report news, and then we'll go through them. Make sure to prepare questions. I can't wait to go through all of them on the live show, and see you tomorrow.